Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist, humanist, philosopher, and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, Ignosticism, Atheism, Anti-theism, Anti-religionism, Secularism, and Humanism. Axiological atheists can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support Anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out, as well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel. Three. Hi, this is Damien Marie AtHope, and I'm an axiological atheist. And I am here today with a guest. Could you go ahead and tell us your name and a little bit about you?
Well, hi, I'm Brandy McClain. I'm an atheist, and I came to my conclusion about 8 years ago.
Okay, could you tell us what an atheist is to your personal experience or in your opinion? Or what it means to you?
I guess to me, atheist is, wow, I don't know. I think it's being true to yourself and kind to others around you. You have more of a reality grip and just helps to see life better, I think.
Yeah, I would say that mine was similar. I'm an axiological atheist, which, if people don't understand, means that how I approach things is not atheism. That's the conclusion. I'm an axiologist, which means I look for value in the world. I approach things with like a clinical perspective
on, is it valuable? Is it beneficial? Is it true? Is it accurate? Is it worthy? Is it somehow improve happiness, joy, flourishing, love, support, kindness? Those are positive things. So an axiologist is about the study of what's good, but also immediately means I understand what is not good. Things like falsehoods, I don't know, like religion. Things like gods that tell you you're going to burn in eternal hell for very finite crimes. I mean, it's just immoral. So I can judge these things. So like when people do, like, they'll say there's moral arguments against God. Those are generally axiological arguments in some way, because it's a value judging. You look at it and you go, this is immoral, this is evil, this is wrong. And you don't have to be the evil in the sense of what a religious person. To me, it's evil as a human behavior. It's going beyond just hurting others. It's an absolute maliciousness that becomes evil. The person is not, because when we say that, to me, it means a person is not even acting in any way that is acceptable for a human, that has any high intelligence at all. Just unacceptable. But anyways, that's to my stuff, like I told you before, can be real complicated, but it still goes back to the same thing. I really said a lot of words that you should be kind to people, because it's like you said, if you have a reality perspective that time is limited, nothing's coming to save us, nothing here can save us, there's no magic, no spells, no nothing. So the only hope would be unlimited left to us. And that's why I say the same thing. That, when people go, what is your goal? I go, human flourishing.
Yeah.
That's
healthy flourishing.
That's like saying that my goal is the lowest level of math. No, most people would, have a desire to at least get a little bit higher. I'm just saying the same thing. Like, I hear some people do this, which is why I like that you, like you said, you added more stuff than, like, say some people just say, well, I just had lack belief. Well, but to me, that immediately does what you said. If I no longer believe in a God, then I realize I'm alone. It sucks to be alone. I'm like helpless and hopeless, and I can feel feelings and hurt, and holy shit, everyone else is just another me, and we all are alone, and we're all seeking safety and comfort. I realized this a long time ago, because I thought it's really, we have all these trappings, words, ideas, but if you really boil stuff down, it really is safety and comfort. Because if you think about it, what we really like when we feel loved, when we feel in a group or family, we feel safe.
Yep.
Getting comfort is the other thing. It's a different one. Comfort comes now because you can have safety. Like, I can put you in a cubicle where you're guarded. You will feel safe, but you're not comfortable. Like, this can happen too with people that are rich. You get so rich, right? And yet you buy everything, but you're still not happy.
Yeah.
Because it's not the things, it's really our experience. And if you're
going to share those things with other people, if you don't have them around.
Well, because if you're living in this accurate world, like you said, as an atheist, I agree with you, that it should be a rational thinker, a person that looks at the world and accurately, or attempts to accurately live in it and understand how it's expressing itself. I mean, that just seems like logical that you should do that. And so I agree.
And I always thought it was a simpler concept, actually. It's simpler to say, well, I know how that color comes out, or I think atheism is so much simpler to understand and live through than being religious.
Well, yeah. Well, because religious, you've actually added things to reality that do not exist in reality.
You're not here. Yeah.
It's extra. I always laugh when they act like that's the default. Adding the extra stuff to reality, you think is the default?
That's
Seriously?
fun.
Come on.
Yeah.
So, could you go ahead and tell us? You said 8 years ago, and now I think I've known you almost 8 years, haven't I? I remember you, right? Am I correct? Didn't you used to live in Roswell?
Yeah, still there.
You're still there?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you were in
I
Ohio.
moved.
Well, you're like, Damien, you're not keeping up with my life.
Yeah,
Sorry.
the pandemic pushed me back home.
Oh,
No, that's
you're
fine.
in Oslo? Okay. Well, I'm not on Facebook. I got banned.
Oh gosh, I deleted mine.
You did? Oh. Well, I got banned.
I was
But I'm
permanent
on
deletion.
Facebook. Is that where you kind of came off of? Is there?
Yeah.
As an atheist and stuff?
Yep.
So what was that like? And what made you, become that? And what were you before?
I don't know. I'm just being around family. One night we were all at this barbecue and everybody was gathered around the fire and they were, thank God for this and thank God for that. And I walked off and I saw my cousin over by himself and I was like, why do they thank God for stuff that doesn't have, like, that has nothing to do with why we thank him? Because this is, I believed. And he says, my younger cousin looked at me and he said, well, I mean, you could go ask the flying spaghetti monster the same thing. And I said, what? He said, oh, yeah, just go look it up. And I did. I'm more atheist than he is now.
So, what about you was the most moving to move you from just being told about that when you went and read it? What about it, just so people can understand? Because I know what it is, but for you, you said you that helped you. What was it exactly that it made fun of religion? I was asking, like, what was it? Do you think that
Made me ask something like that?
Yeah.
Well, I don't know what it was. I don't know if it was just something that clicked in my head. Like, this just doesn't make sense anymore. Like, everybody's actions around them were adding up to what they were thankful for. So I was like, what really are you being thankful for? I'm not understanding. And even though I was baptized and indoctrinated, I don't know. It was just something that clicked in my head. Like, it just doesn't make sense anymore.
Right on. And how did your family take that? Did they accept you, or did they have a problem?
Oh, it was rough. It was rough. Before I could actually tell my ex-husband, his friends found out and told him, and he was upset. He was upset at first. Some of my other family were real shocked. Some of them I don't talk to anymore.
So when you say shocked, did they say anything particularly, or they just? Because if you do know their experience, or you just know that they stayed away. The reason I say, because my mom said some things, so it's not like it's just my opinion.
Yeah. I think my ex-husband was the most upset. My mom, she's always been pretty agnostic. So she was like, you know, like my grandparents, my grandmother was disappointed. And, that's not how we raised you. It was all about how we raised you. It wasn't about, well, are you gay or do you need anything? So they weren't real hateful. Everybody looked at me differently for sure after that.
And how did that feel? Because I know I felt like I basically lost my whole family. Like it was like,
yeah.
It was, and I actually was fearing it before it happened. For me personally, I didn't want to tell my mom. It's just I became atheist in college. Actually, I went to college to be a drug and alcohol counselor or interventionist, and I was doing awesome in school, being a great counselor and stuff. And then they told us we had to take a class on religion, and I was like, oh hell no. I said, no, you have to. In fact, you have to take 2. I said, oh, 2? I think you said 1. 2? Oh my God, 2!
Give me.
Oh, like, what's the classes? Because I wanted to hear what it was. And they go, understand the Bible. I was like, oh, I like aced that class. Holy shit. That was the worst class in my whole freaking school. I had like straight A's, man. A+, everything. I was like 4.0. I get to the Christian part. But the whole class I still did good. But the Christian thing, I felt like I was drowning like the whole time. Like it was cognitive dissonance, I now know. You know what I'm saying? It was like,
yeah. I went to too for about, I went for like medical coding and medical administrative assisting. I went for occupational therapy, and then I switched it for other reasons. But I think college really helped me too to open up that perspective of, wait, I think sociology class really hit me. I actually walked out of class one day because we were talking about social constructs of marriage and family, and I don't know, it just all hit me at once. I was like, my marriage sucks. It's like, this is not how we should treat each other.
Yeah.
That was a catalyst.
I
College was
totally
a catalyst.
agree. That's definitely like. In fact, my mom is dead now, but and I don't believe in afterlife, so everyone can know that I'm not worried about it. In fact, when my mom was about to die, like seconds from death or whatever, I don't know exactly, so I don't want to even care, but seconds from death or whatever, very minute or something. Anyways, my dad, my stepdad, so people know, but he gave the phone like so I could hear. But I said to he goes, oh, you can say goodbye, and I said, I know you're already gone, because to me, I don't believe in souls, and you're brain dead, so I know you're already gone. So he's giving you the phone, and I know I have to do this, but I just want, my opinion is there is no you anymore. There hasn't been a you. So, and then to me, people understand, then it's done. But my wife told me, oh, it passed. It's been a year, and I go, oh yeah, I don't memorialize things because that's not. I don't say. In fact, I don't celebrate any holidays really.
Yeah.
But what I try to do is the exact opposite. There's not a moment in my life I don't think is special, and I shouldn't try to celebrate it. I act as if every single day is an activism, is a chance for me to change the world, change myself, be a better me, help the world be better. Ever since in 2006 for me, when I became an atheist, I have been on fire. I left college. I dropped out to be an atheist activist. Like, oh, fuck this shit. It's too slow. I need to go help the problem right now. Because I'm thinking I could be rich because I was super gifted. I mean, I was blowing everybody away. So that's like beyond everybody. I'm like the teachers, everyone's going, well, in fact, there's this kid in the class. I shouldn't say kid, adult. There's an adult, because it wasn't a kid, so I shouldn't talk like that. I wasn't trying to be mean. I'm just saying I was just inaccurate. So, anyways, but this older guy, he actually said this to the teacher. I don't think it's fair that Damien's in the class with us. I mean, we have to compete with him. Said that actually. That's just, I mean, and the thing that's really interesting too is I am like not good at like grammar, math, that shit. When it comes to reason, I am like uber gifted. In the military, wanted me for the same thing. They were actually going to pay someone to take the rest of the ASVAB for me, just so I can get in, because I think that high. That was going to get top secret immediately. No other bullshit. We want you to think. But anyways, I didn't do it because I was like, wait a minute. So I'm not going to have to do all the running during boot camp. I'm going to get killed, is what you're saying. The people in boot camp are going to beat my ass. I would do that. I mean, I would not do that, but I would feel someone can come. It doesn't have to do anything because you're giving them all this special shit and then telling me I'm going to write to, headquarters and all this, like, and I have no degree. What the hell? They're going to, even though they won't know the other stuff you're doing. In fact, they paid for a gym membership. They were driving me, giving me food, trying to take me out and jogging, because they wanted me to try to get the weight, whatever, because my brain was what they wanted. But I was just, my point is, but for me, like you, I realized I wanted to do something. Fuck making money, which I thought maybe I could do. But I thought, no, instead, I'm going to try to make a difference. And I really appreciate what you've done. So can you tell us, like, I know that you said you 8 years ago you online and stuff. How did you get received, and what did you do?
I really haven't done much with it. I live in a pretty conservative town.
Well, you did a lot online.
A lot on.
If you not think so. I thought you did. Maybe I'm wrong.
To do what?
I said I thought you did a lot of online activism as an atheist, correct?
Yeah, I'm pretty open about it. I mean, I don't like go and attack people on their own posts. You know, I try to talk to people who come on mine. Yeah, I try to join some things. I'm not too internet savvy, but yeah, I'm not quiet about it. I've upset my grandma a few times. She's easy to upset. But yeah, I try to be pretty open. I mean, the best I can. I'm open around my family now. They
And
all know.
how do they feel about you now?
It gets on their nerves sometimes, I think, but like it's mostly like my mom, my nieces, my nephews. Um, yeah, it's mostly internet based. I try not to talk too much about it around like my coworkers and my bosses because I gotta work, so that it's a little tough in that area.
Right.
I'll wear shirts out and about. I get dirty looks sometimes. I just smile. Yeah, someone has a question. I had some kids come up to me one day in a parking lot trying to preach to me, and I kind of clammed up. I'm pretty shy. Like I'm still trying to work off that indoctrination of respect everything, you know, and don't hurt people's feelings about it. But I mean, I don't know. Shyness for me to like be like I'm nervous right now even talking because I've always had like this stage fright thing. So for me, when people come to me and they're like, God loves you, I'm like, why? It's sometimes I clam up. Like, I don't want to, I don't want someone to get physical with me because people can get really, don't say that kind of thing because they're like that around here. They're real physical people. So,
Oh, they've believed me. They've tried it with me. In fact, the debate that I went in Canada, right? The guy brings his brother, and the dude stands up next to me, and he's like 6 foot or 6'1", just barely a little bit taller than me. And he comes up to me, he goes, "I'm from Poland, and we've all Christian." And I said, "I'm from Los Angeles. I was raised in gangs. Dude, I can fight. You do not want to fuck with me." And then he said something else, and he goes, "Give me a hug," and he tried to like charge me. I picked him up off the ground, crushed him, and put him back down and go, "No." And then I went and sat down. He totally calmed down, but I agree with you. I shouldn't have to do. I'm just saying because that's also my personality too. I'm a sociopath. When you come at me, you are gonna get full. And the more harder you come, I don't get softer, harder. but as you know too, online, right? Aren't I kind? Isn't that so? But that's not my personality. People always go, "Oh, you can't be a sociopath because you're so kind." And I'm like, yeah, sociopaths are not known for fooling people. Either are psychopaths. They're not good at conning people at all. They're not good at playing the games. Never. Yeah, right. But no, but the difference is I check myself. I go, there's behaviors that's not acceptable. Like you were saying about how to treat people. I agree. We should. What I feel is that I treat everyone the same. How I would treat you now is how I hope I treat the most religious bigot. Yeah. No different. I understand because I understand psychology and manipulating people because of counseling and just natural ability. I understand how important that actually is.
yes.
Especially if you're consistent about it. Like if they do all this crazy and you just calm, and they're crazy and you're calm, all of a sudden they just start getting more calm. I'm telling you.
Yeah.
That's it. What reminds me, this one person, I used to do household moving, and I was in her house. The kid has ADHD, she's bouncing off the wall, running around, she's yelling at him, "Ah!" She's doing that, right? "Ah, come on!" And I was like, I hate to break the news to you that behavior is only going to help model what he needs to do. She goes, oh, you think so? I'm like, no, I know so. That's what you're like saying too, that once you understand as an atheist, I always laugh at theists that think that we doubt atheism. What the heck is there to doubt? That reality is real?
Yeah.
Show me what reason I have PTSD, okay? I've experienced extreme child abuse. Reality sucks dog balls. I know it's real and it sucks.
Yeah.
And that's also what makes me want to go, hey, I want to care and help because shouldn't be this way.
Yeah. Yeah. Yep. I just I got my own crew and van to work. I was working with this other woman, and she's like what you just described, just bouncing all over the place, highly religious. She's conservative. She's, and it's just crazy talk, like all night. Just I would listen to her and I would be like, yeah, sociopath. She can't control her sociopathic ways.
But you can't. In a little bit. We can always, by reason.
Yep.
There's a way of architecturing what you say, because you basically, when someone comes at you really hard, just go, okay, but tell me what you love about your whatever. Change. See, because in other words, they're like, God says to hate fags. You're like, okay, but tell me what part of the Bible you really love the best. Tell me. Stop that shit. You just demand what they're going to do. You're going to be kinder. Tell me, what would you say is, just asking, and I know you're really angry and you have a right to be, right? I mean, you're angry. But have you thought, what's the best quote in the Bible for kindness? What did you think that Jesus' goal, right? Was it to be the rage or was it to be kind? What would you say? Or whatever, but I'm saying is, you can, or whatever, if someone's atheist, or the whole point, or the thing is, it's the art of fighting without fighting. Because, see, people are used to, like, bum rushing you. So if you ever seen Aikido, it's a type of martial arts where when someone does that, you just grab their arm and you just throw them. You just let that same momentum, okay, cool, see ya. It's like you step out of the way, see ya. See ya. Yeah. I mean, it just used every bit of their power and momentum against them.
They're like this, and we're like this.
Right, yeah. It's taking the momentum. In other words, instead of fighting it, it's almost grabbing it, pulling it faster, but then past you, in a sense.
Yeah.
It's directing it. So that's what I do. I direct it. Oh, wait a minute. Could you tell me that? Oh, really? I you know what? God is real. I'm really interested in to understand your thinking. But could you just first start with what's a God? And no, we'll get to that. But just have you ever thought about that? What is it? In other words, I get him to do what I want to do. It's learning how to navigate people, navigate with things. It's like the difference. When I was a truck driver, I trained 100 students to drive big rigs, and I used to tell them that when we got directions, we needed accurate, if we could recall someone. So I told him, you have to learn this technique. Never let someone give you directions. Never. Always take them. Never let them give them. Well, you have to go down 10 miles. There's a big tree. Go, okay, hold on a second. Where do I start? Well, you'll see it. Just keep going. Okay, and the beginning is where? You just go, I'm telling you, just go, whoa. Would you tell me which streets are crossing that beginning right there? Tell you, you do not let somebody, and so I do the same thing in theism, when they try that bullshit.
I actually do that too. If someone's giving me directions, I'm like, no, wait. You have to, I do the same thing. Oh, wow. I've been doing that for a long time. Didn't even realize it.
You understand. Well, because what you're really doing is you're navigating and making people do what you need. But actually, if you learn how to do that where you push towards facts, you can actually get people to believe things. You can get people to think things. You can do it. I mean, this is another thing too. I always say to people, yes, I have a lot of abilities, and I even have some abilities that I don't talk about. I do not use my abilities to harm others. And I do not teach all of my abilities, because in fact, I told some stuff to a guy thinking because I thought, oh, maybe I should tell people this, because this seems like no one gets. I'm like, because I said, well, because I'm, as you understand too, I usually a very honest, open person, so I'm not looking to harm anybody, take advantage or anything, not for sex, not for anything. I just want to help.
Right.
I have needs, but that's separate to. I just want to help. I'm seriously very open. I want to help, honestly, genuinely. So when I say things to people, I've learned that, oh shit, can't do that. But that some people don't have that same goal of this caring. They hear ideas and they think, I can hurt people with this, and it's a good thing.
Yeah.
So,
or I can take my own, or yeah.
Well, it's a friend of mine. I'm not going to say his name, but it's a friend of mine, and I said it to him. No, he's not anymore, but was a friend, I should say. But I told him, oh, everyone doesn't seem to get this, and you see if you do blah 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 blah, and you can do this and this, and then he's like, man, you could use that to manipulate women. I went, what the fuck? So I said, what the fuck?
That's like the last thing on our mind. Like, where'd that come from, right?
Wow. I guess I shouldn't tell people about this. But
yeah.
I guess I'm glad you said that, dude. Now I don't like you as much. Like, damn, what the fuck?
Yeah.
But anyway, so that's also learning to be careful, because I care really about the end result, not just glorifying my ego or some shit. You know,
right.
I tried to do good. Well, it made nuclear bombs. Oh, well, not my fault. Well, no, actually, it is your fault.
Yeah. You planted that seed there.
Exactly. So,
Yeah.
I'm just saying, though, but that's a long, like I said, once again, I could explain a bunch of long things, but it still comes back to the beginning that, like you already said, that we realize the world's natural. We realize that we're alone. We realize we need others. We realize we should work together. We realize that kindness is one of the greatest ways to support all of that. Hey.
And I think being religious, their kindness isn't actual, like, genuine kindness. It's, I mean, when I believed, I was like, I kind of knew, like, I naturally wanted to be a good person, but at the same time, they fed me lies that I'm not a good person, that I was born this terrible person, and that women are the biggest sinners of all. And yeah, now I'm just like, no, I'm just a person.
Yeah, but you know what's really odd to me? Like, I studied prehistory, as you know, right? You know that I've been researching prehistory since 2006. Once I realized that the Bible was bullshit, and that I was inspired to go, okay, what's true? Because I didn't know. Huh?
Some people will get into talking about how, well, this sect of religion isn't sexist, and I'll think back to things you've said, and I'm like, no, if you dig deep enough, there is sexism rooted in Buddhism, from what I've read that you show. And they're like, oh no, it hasn't. And I'm like, oh.
Then I show them and stuff. They go, okay, well, so Buddha was sexist. That doesn't mean Buddhism isn't. I'm like, okay. Did Buddhism have nuns at the beginning of the religion, or was that something added later? Well, added later because they had to work with it. No, you're not an apologist for Christians. You're making up excuses. Can all sects of Buddhism, do they believe that women can achieve enlightenment? Oh, they don't. But those are the ones that are not, enlightened. Okay. Yeah, but
I
anyway,
was so excited when you started teaching and talking about all that stuff. I was like, oh, I knew something was off about it. And I'm like, there it is.
well, actually, I didn't know crap. This is what's funny, right? So when I didn't know shit about religion at all. I learned everything since 2006. I knew fuck all nothing, except the Bible. I read it twice. I knew that, but other than that, I was very so everything I've learned has been in the last 15 years. But I've spent like, I don't know, 12, 16 hours a day sometimes, eyes feeling like they're bleeding, reading philosophy, reading religion, reading history, going through stuff, looking at art, looking at, oh, and my ideas kind of like morphed around. I started actually as a spiritual atheist, thinking that there was an afterlife, maybe, and not a God, but that there might have been, I thought, I learned later, think different, but at the time I thought maybe, people had souls. I don't know, my point is, just because religion lied, that didn't mean atheists or people were telling the truth. I'm saying, because I didn't come through atheism. I came through just college and myself. I did not know an atheist, never even heard of the term or thought about
I didn't know atheists existed. I thought they were like unicorns. I didn't
No,
even,
I didn't
there's
even,
people that don't that.
I didn't, I thought everyone did. And to some amount. I thought, some amount, everybody believes. So, I mean, I didn't even, the thought that maybe Christianity was wrong was maybe a possibility. Not really, but to me, but the thought that God was wrong, no way. I wouldn't have, it wasn't even, I wouldn't even have thought about it. But at 30, but,
I gotta grab my cat.
okay.
Sorry.
No
They
problem.
get the porch, and I'm on a second floor, and he almost fails. My other cat fell out the window the other day. I about had a heart attack.
Oh, no problem. But
Sorry.
my point is, so I didn't, I didn't know. That's why people go, well, they try to nag now, right? The stuff I post, like, oh, you're so confident. Yeah, you know why? That's years. And you know what? I started as a freaking believe in an afterlife and spirits, maybe. And then I end as hardcore atheist as a son of a bitch. Don't believe in no spirit, no afterlife, anything. That all stuff sounds like, just fantasy land.
Oh, I used to see ghosts, feel ghosts, hear ghosts. I used to have a guy in a black cloak that stood over my bed. I mean, the whole 9 yards.
I thought ghosts were real, right? So but being an open mind, see, but I'm a rationalist. Even then, I wanted the evidence. I wanted to think. I wanted to know why, and so I kept thinking because I didn't stop. That's like Christians or believers. They don't realize how many of them just stopped. They don't even try to think maybe. But I'm saying, so I thought, even though I already thought I was right, I already thought that that atheists are real, probably wrong. Everyone's wrong. I'm right. Glorified Damien. Of course, I was foolish as shit. Didn't know crap. Then I started learning more and started talking to people, and then I started talking to people that first atheists were complaining I was using spiritual. And I said, well, I'm not meaning it because I started to mean it less magic and more just like I cared or something. Because I didn't really, once again, like when religion, they give you all this architecture of words and ideas, and then you're atheist and nobody gives you shit. It's like a bird. They kick you out of the nest, fucker, fly. What the fuck?
Just floated down for a minute.
Yeah, I mean, it was, people like, how did it feel? Fucking terrifying to me. Because I didn't know what the fuck to believe. I don't even mean just God. Imagine if for some people, I was a devout believer. So imagine for some people, all of a sudden, that's gone. I mean, some people are light believers. Where do I do my morality? How do I treat people? What kind of sex is okay or whatever? What kind of behavior? I'm like, well, how do I want my society? I'm like, holy shit, I need to think about this. Because it's a religion, you don't have to think about it. You just go, whatever it says in the Bible. You don't have to think.
Yeah, just do it. Yeah.
It's you know what it reminds me of? When you scroll down, agree.
Yeah. Yeah.
Didn't read a fucking thing.
Yeah.
But
I don't know. I felt more free now than I ever have. I mean, I've gained a lot more confidence. in a lot of things.
That's good.
I didn't realize there was so much I didn't realize about being a woman and being religious and seeing how religious women are around me, and now I see it as they're just I feel sorry for a lot of women, and at the same time I'm angry with them because it's I don't
Both
know.
feelings are valid.
Yeah, like I'm against, the corporal punishment now. Before I thought it's not right, but I thought, well, that's just how it is. There's so much that I'm like, oh, it's just amazing. I don't know.
Yeah, I had my tailbone broken by my father hitting me with a 2x4 as a spanking. Yeah, I'm very non-spanking.
People freak out when I do that, and moms are like, I got 3 paddles hanging on the wall, and I'm like, for what? What are you doing? They're just kids.
Yeah, well, and also it teaches that violence is an acceptable method to deal with your feelings.
You want, pretty much.
But that's not a good way to deal with feelings. It's like, so like for me, there's a people, I hate people too, not I hate people, I hate when people make statements and say, oh, well, if you didn't have like my tailbone being broken, if you weren't beaten like me with a 2x4, well, then you didn't have abuse. What the fuck? Do you want to know what actually broke me and turned me a sociopath? Was not the breaking of the tailbone. It was being alone in the backyard while it was raining with no coat and no protection and hiding under my dad's wood with the tarp to protect the wood. My dad was caring more about his fucking wood than me. And I broke. I started crying. I felt, I'm not loved. I mean, I'm really the fuck not loved. I'm not even loved as much as this fucking wood. I mean, and so I'm just saying, so when people are like, oh, the feeling one doesn't, bullshit, that's what broke me, not the fucking physical pain, which believe me, I'm not saying, but that actually broke my spirit and changed me forever. That gave me was an emotional one of feeling not loved. That's why I posted a thing on Twitter recently that said that when a parent, is mean to a child, the child doesn't hate the parent, the child hates themselves.
And then everyone around who they perceive as a parent. Like I was talking to my second cousin because we worked together, and we were talking about that the other day, and I said, well, it's like you how did I put it to her? I can't remember now. Oh, my nephew hates women because of his mother. She caught that concept because she's actually seeing, the stuff I talk about, how boys and men and feelings. So I said, when my nephew and my son argue or things get physical with someone you care about, it hits you right here, not here. It gets emotional because someone that you trusted, that you thought loved you, just physically hurt you, and you're in shock, and you're like, oh, it's a shock to the system.
Or our whole society has lied to us. They say that names will not hurt us. That's bullshit. Names fucking get people to kill themselves. What are you talking about?
Yes. Yes.
Well, but this is why it's not even surprising. We are social animals. We are bonding. That's what we like to do. So when we do not experience bonding, we can often experience anxiety, which makes us feel not safe and not comfortable. So we lose. I told you the one thing that makes us have well-being. We always feel well-being when we get an equal balance of safety and comfort. We always feel that that really, which a lot of times love does, because you become delusional and you forget for a moment like your environment and your bills and you're just living in this fantasy land of your own mind. That's good stuff. What's that?
Yeah.
What'd you say?
I used to, even my perspective on love has changed since I came to my conclusion of atheism. It's different. It's better, I think.
What would you say your perspective is?
Uh,
What would you say your perspective is, or do you not talk about it?
of love?
Yeah, because it changed. What was it before, and what is it now? Or if you want.
Before, I think it was just about I don't want to be lonely. I
Mhm.
just need that there because I don't want to be lonely. I have to have that partner in life. And now I look at it as it's not that I don't want to be lonely. It's that I realize that I've been lonely this whole time and trying to fill it with unhealthy ways.
Or people.
And yeah, with people. Now I don't. I'm better. I feel better.
That's good.
I want to meet people for who they are, not for what they can feel.
Well, that's right. So, like, I have an open marriage, but that's not really the correct term. I have relationship anarchy, which is that we don't really define our relationship in general. If you see us together in public, we seem like best friends. People have often also thought that maybe I was gay, and this is my gay, my gay friend or whatever. I'm not gay, but I am genderqueer, so I know I give off sometimes like gay vibe to people or whatever, or
Right.
bisexual. But I'm not either of those. I only like
Yeah,
cis. No, but I'm saying people, everyone's different. But I'm just saying that because, like you said, I approach it and she approaches it because of me. She's actually mirrors me more. I'm like a lot healthier, not being mean, but just being accurate. I'm a lot more. I work very hard to be healthy. But anyways, it's actually made her healthier too, and she's made me healthier. So I'm not saying she doesn't help me, but in general, I'm a lot more stable mentally person. Anyways,
mhm.
but what I do instead of like say getting angry that she's unfair or whatever, I try to bring it back. Like in fact, I even said before, are you trying to hurt me? Are you wanting to do that? Instead of reacting, instead of saying what you said is hurting, whatever, all I asked is your goal to do that? And then she's like, well, no, I don't want to hurt you. I said, then why are we being like this? And I said it we, but actually it was her.
Yeah.
But the reason the we is good because it makes it safe and comfortable to then admit wrong. And my goal is not to be perfect, but to help her admit wrong so we can move the fuck on in the sense. But people see like the kindness. They I shouldn't have to do that. I go, well, what kind of world do you want? I want a good world. And how about this? How many times do you think I do that and now my wife is better because of it?
Right.
Because instead of reacting in a toxic way, I try to take the toxic away and go, hey, why are we being toxic?
Right.
And I'm not saying that I can't get angry, but I would say that I've never, in our whole time of like 16 years being together, I've never called her a name. Not one time.
There's no need for it.
Right.
I mean, yeah.
No. And so to me, it's the same thing like for theism. Have I thought in the 16 years that I was wrong? No, I had. In fact, the exact opposite happened. The more I studied, the harder my atheism got, the more extreme my anti-religionism got. It did not, like you said, about Buddhism and all that. Actually, the first thing is people all the time tell me I have to accept Buddhism as an atheist. Like, oh, Buddhism's okay. Like, and I'm like, well, I don't know fuck off about Buddhism, but I don't really see why I have to accept any fucking thing. And then so the first thing was people were irritating me online. Keep pushing this bullshit. But I'm a thinker. It's like, okay, I'm gonna find out what the fuck this bull crap is. And I went and looked at it and I'm like, the fuck are they trying to push this shit on me for? Okay. So then I said, here's some shit's wrong. But I didn't do any blogs or anything. And then the people got mad as fuck. And so then I had to do more things to back it up. And all of a sudden I'm like, I must have fucking doing this blog. And then total hell, right? Because people get pissed as shit when I attack Buddhism. Like a motherfucker. They hate me. I've had people unfriend me. Unfriend me. Atheists. Unfriend me because I say shit about Buddhism. But you know who?
Yeah.
Funnier than that, or in a sense to me. Bye. Whatever. But the worst than even Buddhism, I don't know if you know, is the Taoism. Oh my God. I've had
Yeah.
people, dude, I have like, I don't know, the most comments on my blog post, if any post is about Taoism, they fucking hate me for saying bad shit about Taoism. Holy.
They don't like that truth. That little bit of truth rooted in there. They don't like that.
I thought it was a philosophy. Why are you so offended? Oh, because it's not a philosophy. It's bullshit like all the other religions that require apologists. Oh, that's why.
Yes. Yes. I think they all do. And they're like, oh, well, so yeah, I hear it too. I'm like, no, it ain't. Just look at it, read it.
Right. So then people said, okay, Damien, you're right. There's a few things wrong in Buddhism, but the other religions are good. And I go, how do you know that? How the fuck do you know? I go, what? It's a bizarre to me as a rationalist to be around people calling themselves skeptics, making the most bizarre positive belief claims about shit that they can't possibly know.
Namaste. Namaste.
So that's why I ended up doing all those blogs I did on every world religion, because I was like, I'm gonna go look. I'm gonna go look
Yeah.
with my eyes. And they're not being friendly, but they're not being. I wasn't trying to be mean. I actually didn't really know at first. Then I went and looked. Yeah, every time. Oh yeah, no surprise. Look, they have sexism. Oh,
Yeah.
it's a little bit different about. Oh, but it's still there. Oh, they deny it while still doing it. Oh, there you go. Yeah, like they tell. Oh, you don't understand, Damien. You're so wrong. In Islam, their God doesn't have a gender. Go, oh, really? Why are they mentioning it as he then? Well, it's just with a term.
Mm-hmm.
Really? Oh, so then you have no problem if I start saying she. I have no gender. They're so full of
Right?
shit. There's watch them get pissed. Hold on now. Oh, what the fuck? It's like when people tell me, well, women are as good as men. I go, men are as good as women. I said this shit right back to them.
They get hurt when I tell them virginity's not even a real concept. Like you say
Well,
virginity's not real. They're like, oh.
well, here's the thing. They think that a hymen is something only a human woman got from Jesus. Here's a fact. A whole bunch of animals actually have hymens. So it's nothing fucking special. Even horses, I think. Oh,
Yeah. But we're not animals.
no.
We're angels.
Yeah, we're angels. That's what I asked my mom when I was a kid, but she was a devout, like fanatical believer. I mean, like one time I had, just so you get a picture of how fanatical. I had a ColecoVision game. It's like Nintendo or something else, whatever. But it's a long time ago. But I had the game, and it was this basic, not even a big deal, but it's called Dungeons and something, dragons or whatever. Oh, she flipped out. They went and burned it, I think. Didn't even take it back. They freaked out, right? She's like yelling at me. She's telling me there's like now demons in. I'm screaming out loud. Demons are in the house. But I mean, going around the house on the outside and rubbing oil on all the windows and doors to keep out the demons. Look, yeah, there's oil. Because obviously, who doesn't know that? Oil, the demon barrier. But anyway, so 7 times she goes around the house and 7 times anoints it with oil. I'm just going, I live in an insane asylum. But
Man, poor thing.
yeah, that's why when people are like, oh, Damien, you just haven't seen the beauty religion. I go, yeah, well, I must have seen it by its balls then. Because this sucker was ugly.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
But I like when they say that, oh, I just think it's because you hate God. I'm like, that wouldn't be why I started college to be a Christian counselor, do you think? My goal at 35 was to be very soon a Christian counselor and saving people for Jesus.
Well, yeah.
Oh, yeah. I mean, that's why I say I had no intention, because they go, oh, you just wanted to be an atheist. No, never thought about it. I just presented facts. And especially, and it was the halfway through the class on the Bible, which I told you, remember I was like swimming in, because I was like cognitive dissonance back. Because they said, oh, well, these tablets were found in Iraq and they have to do with the Sumerian Epic of Gilgamesh, and it has a flood story in that's almost exactly like the Bible. I mean, it has almost as birds, that they put out and come back with branches and shit. I mean, it's kind of almost, you're like, oh, holy shit. I mean, it's not 100%, because like instead of a boat, it's like a square thing or round or something. And it's like multiple of them. So a couple of things a little different. But guess what? How high it is? 7 high for God's number. But what's really funny about that is I just watched a video about Russian shamanism. You know how high you do a spirit bonfire? 7 high. You know how many times you walk around the fire? 3 times.
I gotta tell people, like, there's so many people on the planet. How could someone not have the same idea as another person? Do you know what I mean? Like, the pyramids are alien. No, it's just human mind. That's how we build things.
And now you can say, because I'm telling you a fact, it's the Devil's Gate people in North China. So now you know not just the area, but the people. You can go fucking look it up. 7,200 and something. But go look it up. They even show charts that they spread out through everywhere in the Americas. They spread into Egypt. They spread to England. They very, very lightly. But so I think that they, not like aliens and not like that bullshit about like one major culture gave it all. Yeah, well, one major culture shared an idea, but I think actually they got the idea from Siberia, and Siberia more transferred it.
Yeah.
And those people relate sort of to, you know what I'm saying? You get my point. Like, because they go, well, how come it went through northern Japan, but also all the way to the Americas? Because they didn't. That's how. It's called family, and then one goes this way, other goes this way. So, yeah, and then it looks like, oh, how did that happen? People, I don't know, big families?
It started with one monkey, and then by the time it got to the end of the other monkey, they kept one concept and made up all the other ones.
We need to talk about sex again and remind you that people do it, and then there's a result often that happens called children, and that just keeps happening, and all of a sudden there's a bunch of you, and you can have big plans, and then you can separate, but yet you still have the same genetic and probably same culture and a lot of things. So to me, it's about 7,000 years ago that almost all, or actually a major chunk, this is not almost all, but it's a major chunk of almost all the religions in the world. Almost like, you'll see, because go look it up, like look up creation myths. It's an easier way than trying to learn everything I have. Just go look up on Wikipedia. There's things that say creation myths. You'll see it groups them in groups. And I think there's a reason they're grouped like that. Is because they actually do have a very deeper, probably North Asia, like I said, or Siberia connection. Because see, when you're on top, you can bleed down to everything. And then, of course, then seem like you're here and here, when really you were here and you went like this. You didn't go here and here. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. It's kind of like let's go this way.
Yeah, right. What I'm saying is like people, well, how are they over here and they're over here? They're almost doing the same thing. I'm like, shared culture? Yeah. Religion's a culture. So I'm saying, so people, to me, religion's a shared cultural product.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And it's evolved. And I've kind of figured out that basically about 100,000 years ago, there's animism in Africa, basically Southern Africa for sure. And then the migration of everybody in the world, like It's because I have some art, but people understand. My stuff is actually more complicated, my understanding of it, than I'm giving it to you. I'm trying to give you like a simplified, so it's easy to grasp,
Yeah.
not so
Yeah,
complicated.
there's
Like,
just a couple things I'll read of yours and I'm like, wait a minute. And I read it a couple more. I'm like, okay, I get it. Yeah.
well, I said that, right, but understand too that it's like I'm giving you the highlights of cliff notes, not cliff notes. You're getting like
Yeah.
just the like, and because I'm trying to
The
show
iceberg.
right, yeah, it's trying to see the iceberg, right? But I'm sure that's why, well, because people go like, oh, this is so complicated. I'm like, it's actually way more complicated. But I'm trying to help you understand. You don't need to know all that. That I've explained it simpler. Just this is what it is. But I can back it
Yeah.
up. I have blogs and all kinds. You want to go look. In fact, yesterday was the first time that an archaeologist from I guess Russia or somewhere, he just wrote an article on figurines and their perception as being mother goddesses or totems or something. He wrote me a message, a scholar, right? He did this, article for this university, and he's like, man, your article, Damien, that you did is very interesting. I really liked it. I think that we think the same. So I was thinking, see, people that don't know, they look at my stuff and think, "Whoa, am I supposed to trust you?" Oh, academics trust me because they know and they go, "Whoa!" But like you said
Right.
about being an atheist that believes in reality. See, that's the difference. You'll hear like these other people talk about prehistory or whatever. Yeah, but they're not really trying to be accurate. They're trying to make shit up. I'm not trying to make anything up. In fact, like I have one art that I just recently made that shows like, and it's just a rough draft, like I was talking, but kind of like the migration of the different religions, so people can
Yeah.
grasp what I'm saying. But I didn't really explain anything about Australia. I know a little bit, but I don't feel comfortable putting lines because I don't know. I think they kind of went into the center, but they could have done it from the outside, or they could have maybe done it. I saw. I'm like, so being that's why I was making a comment. So it's just white. I didn't even put nothing. Instead of guessing or throwing, because I truly
Yeah.
I know a few spots, but I don't know how exactly they got to Lake Mungo or whatever. I don't know how. I could work harder in trying to find out, but I'm already done. I'm ready to move on. I'm done with religion. I figured it plenty out. But I'm just saying about honesty. So I didn't put anything, and I'm not going to. I'm going to put it in my book with nothing there, and I'm just going to say, yeah, I'm being honest. I don't know, and I'm not going to look it up
Yeah.
because it's not super important to me. I already figured out enough of the other stuff out. Like I said, about 100,000 years ago, in animism in Africa, and to me, when it started, it probably didn't exactly relate to afterlife. It was more about believing like the whole world has spirits, and you got to work in balance with things. It wasn't really about like some people go fear of nature. No, that is totally wrong. You ever see an animist in Africa? Dude, they're like moving through like an animal. They don't even look like a human being almost. What I mean is that they flow in the natural environment so well. And they just walk up to lions, take food. You're like, what the fuck? Or like I seen this guy, this, this he's out there. You're like, oh, in the Amazon, it's really hard to get dry wood. And then in the background, you see this guy chop a tree. It takes a tree, beats it till it becomes like, it looks like pulp or something. Then he puts it and starts a fire. I'm like, what the fuck?
Oh wow.
I was like a green tree, I'm like, see,
Wow.
those people are so in tune with their environment, man. They operate, gifted. I mean, to us, we're like, okay, that was magic. How in the heck did you do that? Well, I would never even have thought. I wouldn't even have thought that. I was like, oh, and another thing he did. That was one thing he did, right? The other way he did the fire, he took the thing and he took the green tree and he like sliced like almost like hairs, like shredded like the whole thing like into a whole like bundle of like little tiny like hairs and started the fire that way with the green tree. I was like,
That's a way to get kindling.
Yeah, he basically made like super fine kindling out of a green tree, just sitting there. But I was like, I
Wow.
never thought to do that. I would have gone,
And,
you can't
and
do
it
it.
hits. That's crazy.
But anyways, what goes back to what I'm saying is, people don't know. I've done a lot of studying because here's the thing. As an atheist, I want to tell the truth. I want to have evidence to back it up. I don't like just make speculations out of
Yeah.
nowhere. Like I think those other people do that talk about prehistory that are famous and yet full of shit.
Yeah.
Like, I can't remember, Graham Thornton or something, or Norton, or anyways. And Michael Hitchens or something. I don't know. I can't remember exactly their names. But there's pseudoscientists, crap. They talk about that prehistory, but it's bullshit. It's fucking crap. But especially here, because they'll say, "Oh well, the science, they don't want to accept things." And I was thinking, they seem to have no problem with my memes. In fact, like I just told you, just yesterday, I had this one guy. I think he wants to like talk to me or whatever. He's impressed as shit. And my ideas are wilder than fuck. Because in fact, they sound wilder even than the ones that talk, except aliens. Those are. But I mean, like that one guy talking about one culture and stuff. To me, how he explains it, it's boring. The actual real shit, it's way more interesting. Dude, it was like, because to me, you know what happened 7,000 years ago to 5,000? World War One, or World War Zero. It's not World War One. Sorry, World War Zero. Because the amount of death and stuff that happened at that time, from 7,000 to 5,000, was the most killing and murder that had ever happened in human history to that point. That is when slavery started. That's when human sacrifices for sure started, because we found, like, there was one in China at 4,000 though. There was like 200 women were sacrificed.
Wow.
Just murdered for religion, because religion. That's why I also laugh when people are like, "Oh well, those ancient ones are a lot better." I'm like, oh, you must not have read shit, because like I said, 200 women got sacrificed to death because one guy died. Yes, but it was also about religion, but because they did it in a sacramental way, or whatever. But it's that what I'm saying. So really the shit starts then. Because before 7,000, women had a basic kind of equality in the world. It's really after 7,000.
Right.
And you see at 6,000, you can really see it really starting. That's when graves of men and women become unequal in some areas. And then by 5,000, that's when the state rises, and that's the first time they say secession for sure passes male, not female. And so, but I think it might have already started in that 7,000 or 6,000 in Germany, had started doing that, or Austria, or that whole area right there, had started doing like male burials. And so, but that also happens in other areas, in Ireland, that happens in Poland, that happens in, I think, I'm not sure if it happens in America or not. I'm not saying that. I don't know. I don't remember. But I know those other areas for sure. They were all male line. They start having burials where it's like male, or whatever. They have some females like in the grave sometimes, but they're like 30%, I think. But it's mainly.
What's that? Here in like the Americas, a lot of the tribes here were matriarchal, from what I've been learning.
Well, yeah, not all of them, but a lot of them. And I bet you the ones that are not are probably, to me personally, and I'm not, by the way, I'm not putting any tribe down. I'm just saying history. So the Nadane come in about 7,000 to 5,000. Sometimes probably about 6,000 is probably more accurate. I don't know, but somewhere between 7 and 5. They come from, like I said, the Devil's Gate in North China, almost near Siberia, Russia, whatever, and right above North Korea. Just it's like this little tiny place. But anyways, that people, or that DNA, similar to those people, I should say, made it over all the way down to Peru and stuff eventually. They made all the cultures you see building all the same culture. Sort of. I mean, it's the same DNA kind of, but well, it wasn't. But also too, at that time, it's not just. Here's another thing too. It's not that, like, once again, I was telling you before. That's only true about the ones that went to Mexico and then down, because the ones that went to the middle, they did the copper culture, the old copper culture, and became where totemism and stuff. But that's because it wasn't ever totemism. This is the thing that you understand. I try to show you some art, but I have to explain it. So what happened is 7,000 years ago, it was already paganism. This is what people need to grasp. It's already paganism. In other words, what I see is that it's other gods.
Yeah.
So before that, because shamanism can or cannot have gods. It doesn't need them. Okay, so it doesn't. And then totemism doesn't need gods, although it can have them, sort of, but it doesn't need them. And animism for sure almost doesn't need anything like that. Or if it does, who gives it? Everything's a spirit. Who cares? But anyway, so I'm gonna say they're kind of thinking. So the progression of whatever. So, but by that time, you have to understand too that it's not like when I say paganism, it's paganism with shamanism and totemism and animism. It's like Legos. That was what was in North China, a totemistic, shamanistic paganism that was very animistic, and that went all the way down to all the Polynesian people, down to Australia, down to Papua New Guinea. And so a lot of them are like, oh, there's Papua New Guinea's paganism, or totemism. And I'm like, do they have gods? They do have a few gods. The god no, that's all I need to hear.
Yeah.
Done. Now, if you tell me if they have totemism and they don't have any gods, oh, now we're talking different. But here's the one thing too that you understand. They could have had it and then lost it. And some could have not had it and gained it all on their own. I'm not saying that every single thing was from someone else. This is wrong. That's why that one guy was saying everybody gives everything. Oh, well, what the fuck? No. One person brings, it's like that goes to just use the words people understand. This is, and I'm not saying they called it this, but I'm just using a word everybody knows. Powwows, right? So in Siberia, around Lake Balka, 6,000 years and down almost, they had huge powwows or whatever, almost at, I don't know, I don't want to claim because I don't know exactly, but let's just say at holidays. And I don't know what their holidays were, but there's certain, like, mass amounts of people would go from all kinds of areas and the steppe and everything in China, and they'd go here, and then they would come out and spread ideas. And that's what I'm saying. So
it's like from
trading and people, but yes. So what would happen is a whole bunch of people would come for parties, though, not just, but you find a mate. You have your totemist or whatever or mentality. You have to have someone outside of a thing, your tribe or whatever, or if it is in, it has to be a certain person. Very, very particular. Their rules are humongous. That's where everyone gets their rules thanks to totemism. Fuck you, totemism. Fuckers making rules. Animists don't have a lot of rules. Animists just have a belief that there's spirits sort of around, and you have to work with imbalance with. It almost sounds like a hippie. Man, you just gotta get in the flow, man. Just work.
Yeah, right.
But as funny as that sounds, that's actually not that far off from what animists think. They just don't see, they would just say, well, Damien, you know that the whole world is alive and there's things everywhere. And so we have to be in connection because the balance has to be in. And when you see things really, the storms, it's angry. It's not in balance. So we just have to work more, So and I'm not saying that, of course, I'm just so people understand too. I'm simplifying again. I don't want people to think that now you understand every freaking indigenous person. I'm trying to get very complicated things a lot easier, just reminding people. So don't think that you know everything. I'm just trying to help you grasp, because it is important. You need to understand. They can think that way and not have a God. They can think that way and not have, in a sense, a religion. Yeah. They can think that way and not have an afterlife. And I still want that thinking to be gone, because guess what? There was some totemists that had this spirit belief that women had been possessed by demons, and they were hacking them in the head with machetes. And they filmed, I've seen it. It was horrific. Yeah. I'm not even going to go on and explain what I felt and shit, but let me just tell you that it just reminds me that this bull crap, that it's not like a problem today, these kind of beliefs. That, and I'm not saying
These kind of beliefs always escalate into something, it's just violent and ridiculous.
Well, because it's not based, as we said before, it's not based in reality. So then you can make it anything you fucking want, right? It's like, presto changeo, I would like it to be sexist. Well, guess what? All of a sudden, my God sounds sexist as hell. But if my God is loving, all of a sudden, my God...
Upset. I get upset because I'm like, why do you believe in a God that wants to genocide you? How can you have a church on your land that killed millions of your ancestors and think God is great? And that they get so upset. I'm like, you can be mad at me all you want. I just think it's ridiculous. You went from believing from your spirituality to a God, and now you're hating white people for giving you that God. And I'm like, what are you going to do about it? Don't be mad at me.
What's interesting to me is that how I see it now, a Christian is an animist, anatotemist, and a shamanist. It's an animist because they believe in a spirit life, and they believe in a spirit afterlife, so that which is a little more closely connected to shamanism, really, than animism. But
it is.
Still, but anyway, so then don't you have like totemism, things that make you feel you're a Christian? That's a totem that builds you as a bigger part of the clan. It's a superstitious idea of symbol that makes the clan feel united and powerful. Oh, that's what the cross and all that. I'm a Christian, you know.
Yeah. I've never liked the cross, by the way. When I was baptized and when I was shown everything at 8 years old and the story of Jesus, I mean, even before then, I never liked the cross. I never liked it as a symbol. I didn't never want to wear it. I was just like, get that thing away from me. It's weird.
But I'm saying, do you see how, in a sense, it is totemism? It's a form of it. I'm not saying it's exactly, because once again, totemism is not itself a religion. It's like a way of doing things. Same with animism. It's like a way of believing, you know. But so they have that, and then they have shamanism. Shamanism has a few things it does.
To me, that reminds me of Buddhism, like voodoo. Shamanism.
Well, voodoo. Well, first off, is witch doctors are shamans. That's an American just giving a different, or anthropologist giving it a different stupid. When they say medicine man, it's still a shaman. It's just a person giving it a new name.
Use their labels too. It's all the same thing, man.
But I don't also have a problem if they want to use. I'm just making. I know what it is. You can call it what you want. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I know what it is. It's not something different. A witch doctor, a medicine man, a shaman. Now here's where it's different. Sometimes, or even someone that says a sorceress or a witch. These are all.
Oh yeah.
No, but these are all shamans in a sense, a form of shaman. So shamans do herbs and healing. Always. Almost exclusively, shamanism focuses on healing and caring about the injured. It's very, very common. And the shaman themselves, their eye being injured or some part of the trial they had to experience, especially close to death or a sickness or illness or injury, very big for shaman journeys. But anyways, but shamans are about caring about people that are injured. So that is a good thing. I see it like as animism. Yeah. I'm just giving it, once again, I'm generalizing, so just give people a basic idea. Don't want people to think I'm actually attaching. But animism is kind of female in a sense. It wants to take care of everyone. Everyone's equal. Children are equal. Women are equal. Marriage, in fact, like the Hazai people, they actually, both ways. A child is, in a sense, not by one or the other, but by both parents. They don't do a choice. They're not binary. They do both. All people are passed by all people. So whether you're passed through your male line or passed through the female line, you're all passed. You are all us, in a sense. So it sounds more enlightened, really. To me, it's like, wait a minute, these are the most primitive people? What? You sound like they're progressive, liberals or something. Or
Yeah.
what, socialists or something. Like, what? Wait a minute. What? No, that was actually a shock for me, was to realize that, religion was a hell of a lot more about women than I ever realized. In fact, from 35,000 to 2,000, it was almost exclusively about women.
Yeah.
Even though being shot in a few times, they were like the hand-me-downs. In fact, even the not the only, but one of the Sumerian myths of all the gods is that their first was only a female, and that she gave birth to everything without a male. No male assistance of any kind. It was totally female empowerment and female creating everything from herself. Yeah, all
now,
by.
when you say only female, and I think of science, and I'm like, well, that's asexual reproduction. I don't know about if it's mainly female. Yeah.
Well, no, I'm not saying it's logical. I'm just making a comment. My point was, because if you'd have said God, I would have said he. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But until I really researched religion, and then I went, wow, God was a she. And not only that, there was a whole bunch of gods that were a they that people don't fucking talk about.
Yeah.
Male gods and female gods. I'm like, there was 7 genders. Just saying, but okay. Nice story, though.
Cool story, bro.
Cool story, because I'm pretty damn sure that I read an article that said before 7,000, there probably was 5 genders in Europe. And then it was for sure only after 5,000 that they were established, and they've never changed. I was like, at least now we know where to hate. No, but the point is, what it's done for me too, like when they say, would I doubt religion? Like, well, I now have no ability to believe it. It's really what it is. I think I've removed a physical, unless I had a lobotomy, I've removed physical ability to believe it. Because I see it such as culture. I can tell you, boom, 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 boom. Anyway, so 100,000, and then people shot out, and once they get to basically Europe, over into France, Germany, and all that, they in a sense create totemistic thinking. And I think that one of the reasons is because it was like one culture that shot in multiple times, like every couple years, sort of, like not all. So it's kind of like one tribe, and then a couple years in between, and they meet each other, but they probably weren't exactly maybe the same family. So they're like, yeah, these people are different. That's the bird clan. We're the tiger clan or whatever. So in a sense, they started. We all know we're together, and we're the same tribe, sort of, but a different clan or whatever. In that corpus of people. And especially, too, because I think that's when we met Neanderthals over there. And I know that they started and we started sharing some of our ideas both ways. Or it seems that way, I should say. I don't know for sure.
Yeah.
Wasn't there, but it does appear that they're both start picking up new tools that before interacting in the same areas they didn't do. But the Neanderthals started becoming way more human-like. Started doing way more decorations, way more ornaments. They did a little bit of that, but I mean, they became like way more into that. And so, anyways, then from there, then they go to, in a sense, Siberia about 30,000 years ago and make shamanism. And once again, what it is a same group of people that went and did them now goes 10,000 years later, right? So these people left about 40,000, 45, maybe 50. Then 35, 38, whatever. It's about 38, yeah. So 38, they're in Croatia. And then by 36, they're in shamanism. So somewhere between 38, they're not. And then 36, they become. So
it's crazy.
And then from there, a portion influences Russia, who then goes to Siberia out there, which is northern North China, which is what later becomes the people of that go to the Americas and become the Aztecs.
Yeah.
Or whatever, all that down there. The Dane in general, because they all were one culture, sort of. And I don't know that always means people understand. The Dane is a language, like a group of languages, I really should say. I think it's Alabasca, or I shouldn't try to pronounce it because I don't know, but it's a group of languages, several of them, like Apache and Navajo, and I don't know all of them, but there's different ones. I think even ones in Alaska, there's different ones. They're all in a sense connected.
Languages is crazy how many different languages there are in like one area.
Oh, it is.
That's amazing.
But what's also amazing is when you go and look up, and it's actually groups of languages. That to me because it's one way that I figured out how movement of people, because you can track a language moving, and they can know where it starts and where it ends up and what language. Just like the Indo-Europeans 7,000 years ago gave birth to the Romans, the Greeks, right? You've heard of those. Have you ever heard of the Italians? Right? Rome and all that? Yeah. Italic, like Italians. So the Romans, the Greeks, the Italians, I'm not done, the Germans, the French, the English, the Swedish, all of these, in a sense, all these, and there's other ones, Poland, some other, Estonia, and there's other Lithuania, and a couple. I can't remember all the names.
I found out I have DNA in me from Estonia.
Oh yeah, right on. But that whole area is all influenced, England, Ireland, and Spain eventually, by the Indo-Europeans. And they're the ones that gave the religion to all of them, and why all of them have a similar religion. But they also did what's called synchronizing, where big powers kind of influence each other. So even though these people, like I said, are different branches of the same thing, they didn't totally agree with their religion. But like Rome did like some of these gods. But it actually is their own peoples, sort of. You see what I'm saying? But they had evolved to. They started, in other words, like Pathos or something, okay, becomes Horgalis for the Sami, which is basically Zeus and Thor. You see what I'm saying? It's the same thing. Guess what it also is, to me? Goes over to the Americas, but before it hits the Americas, it's in the north, and it's I can't pronounce the name, but let's say my mind I want to say the Big Kahuna, but that's inaccurate. But it's something something I can't know, but anyways, but it's this bird, right, that is considered to be the storms. It's a black bird, like a crow sort of, but and it's different than a crow, but a little bit, but it's this one bird. Then it becomes a crow in the far east Russia. Then by the time it gets to the Americas, it's called a...
Hello, and welcome to my channel. I am Damien Marie AtHope. In the simplest terms, I am an atheist, humanist, philosopher, and prehistorical writer-researcher at DamienMarieAtHope.com. I am specifically an axiological atheist. An axiological atheism can be thought to involve ethical and value theory reasoned and moral argument driven apatheism, Ignosticism, atheism, anti-theism, anti-religionism, secularism, and humanism. Axiological atheist can be understood as a value theory or a value science atheist. As an axiological atheism's ethically reasoned and constructive pro-humanity. I am an axiological thinker, value theorist. The science of goodness, worthiness, usefulness, valuableness, virtue, reliableness, accuracy, validity, morality, integrity, beneficialness, etc., etc. We axiologists have a value consciousness. And in general, we see the architecture of humanistic humanitarianism value in people that we see as dignity beings. Places and things are not. Axiology is a value theory. In its broadest sense, it involves areas of philosophy that are deemed to encompass some evaluative or evaluation aspect. Therefore, it crosses almost all domains in some way or another. Now for a more detailed terms as to what I am. I am an axiological atheist, an anti-theist, an anti-religionist, secularist, humanist, rationalist, writer, artist, poet, philosopher, advocate, activist, with schooling in psychology, sociology, as well as I am an autodidact, self-taught in science, archaeology, anthropology, and philosophy. I promote science and am against pseudoscience, pseudo-history, pseudo-morality, things that are found in religion. I support realism, axiology, of course, liberty, justice, ethics. I am also an anarchist socialist. I support anarchism and socialism, progressivism, liberalism, philosophy, psychology, archaeology, and anthropology, advocating for sexual, gender, child, secular, LGBTQIA+, race, class rights, and equality. So if you can guess from all that, I support or challenge that I have an eclectic variety of videos on a variety of topics. Please take time to check them out. As well as if you enjoy them, please give them a like. And don't forget to subscribe, as new things are on their way all the time for my channel.